Yes.
Pledge of allegiance, and I would ask following the pledge, being 9/11 this morning, and while we're meeting at the times that this plane were used in such a horror, that we would take a moment of silence following the pledge to respect the activities of that day and what it's done for our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yep. Jones. Yep. Numbers. Here. Gore. Here. Looking at the agenda for today, we tabled the weed discussion last time until the county attorney and engineer were available. Indicated they would be available today if we want to leave that on there and consider that something that is open. I don't know exactly when we were thinking we would get back to that. Motion on the agenda. Approve the agenda as it was posted and sent out. Comments? All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Minutes from the last meeting. All those in favor of approval signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Move on. Personnel policy back in your mind? Yes, sir. Looking for it? First off, we're looking for you.
Not up critical.
First half of it. But it's time to meet with the department heads. I'll turn to my right and hear what Rick has to share with us first.
Yeah, it's pretty busy. It's been good. I've seen a lot of vets from other counties for whatever reason, I don't know. We've got 3 guys going on an honor flight this Saturday. Sibley, I don't know what that really is, but they're putting on a fundraiser at the school, high school, September 30th. So I'll be there with a little table thing. They actually, we're having the Sioux Center on there, like people coming there, and so I called the guy, I said, gee, I didn't even know we had that in Osceola County, so, yeah, I did the Sioux Center, the fee in there, so, I hope that's a good deal for our vets. I think we have 8 or 9 more signed up with, so, go.
Won't let you off the hook yet, you got about another 5 minutes to outdo Mike.
5 minutes, not even close.
Yeah?
Well, ATVs and snows renew, by the end of the year, so we sent out renewal notices on those, and, so they'll start rolling in, and other than that, it's just normal every day business.
Next.
Grass gets grown, so we continue to have to mow, even though we're a little short-handed. One of our seasonals had to go to college, and thinks he has to get educated, so he's no longer around to help. Trimming some trees, dove season opened September 1st. We planted 3 dove plots earlier in the spring, so had to spend a little time getting those ready to hunt. The things you go and dip down the sunflowers and it sucks them in, or it's supposed to if there's birds around. We have seeded portions of the Willow Creek project. We're seeding the trail, the actual trail surface today with some grass, and then yesterday we did the north side from the riprap to the trail bed. We got that done and wrapped. And then the rest of it, we're going to have to wait until the ground is cooler, because we're kind of no man's land for native seedings right now, where you run the risk of germination, and then it grows a little bit, and then it dies, and it doesn't have enough nutrients stored in the roots for it to take off the next year, and then you end up with nothing. So, don't want to do that. We did start a little bit cleaning up the low property in the rainy days, kind of cleaning off the Quonset, so we have an extra place to store some of our equipment and get it out of the weather. Been trimming some trees, and then I will say on our, talked with Chuck Dance yesterday, as far as the Hawkeye Point water project is going, and we are looking around the first part of October for that, so we'll shut the campground down on or about the 1st of October, let them camp that weekend, and then shut her down on that Monday, so he can get in there and get started installing water to every site. And we had Labor Day weekend, I guess, was a week and a half ago, and we had 13 campers on the 12 sites of Hawkeye Point, plus a tent, and all 5 at Willow Creek were full also, so that was a busy weekend for us.
We've been still really busy with driver's license, continuing to the end of this year, and hopefully they'll cut down to about a third of what we had this year. And then also taxes are due, so those have been coming in as well.
With driver's license, when they renew, is it just a luck of the draw, how many years you get?
Yeah, they're trying to get everybody to 8 years, so they've been doing that now for 2 years. So they're still staggering, so not everyone doesn't come to an 8th year, but hopefully after, I think this year it'll all be phased out, and we should be, everybody will get 8 years then, except for when you hit 74, then it's every 2.
74, you say? It's getting closer all the time. Just real quickly, as far as Grow Addition, Dan Lonman's building, Pioneer Building's coming along pretty good. They're doing some pouring of cement the last few weeks out there, so I think he's going to be kind of up and ready to go here before too long. There's still some inquiries on the Cap Arms building out in the North 40, but nothing definite at this point, so but at least people are still looking, and hopefully we can get that building back in private hands there again pretty quick as well. Nick had mentioned Hawkeye Point, but we are working with the National High Pointers Foundation, and they would like to put in a webcam out there, basically just to show the change of the season, change of the activities out there, and so we're going to be working with them to get that up. They're going to pay for the equipment, and So it'll be live streaming up there. Now, I don't know what people will see, but we'll have it up there, and at least if nothing else, it'll look as a deterrent to would-be vandals out there. We have a camera sitting out there. Our OCDC is working on a new website that should be up within a month or so, and we'll have a new kind of updated look, and I think a little more user-friendly than our old one had there as well. In Sibley, I think probably some of you have seen, but Letha Board has started building her new painting building out there by the new water tower, just back of Co-op Energy's oil building out there. And so that should be going up pretty quick. I don't think Dodens have broken any ground and stuff out there yet at all. Pool project, I just talked to Corey Dyster yesterday, and that is actually ahead of schedule. They're really encouraged by some of the things that have been happening. They're going to be doing a lot of pouring of cement both this week and next week, weather permitting, and it should be great weather, I think, this week to get a lot of that done. And their hope then is to have everything up and running next spring, have the pool open for the kids there as well. So in Ocheyedan, during their Days of Old celebration, they opened up and had an open house of the spec house there, and they had more than 100 people go through the house. They were encouraged that at least 2 couples left their phone numbers that were interested in purchasing, and should they sell that house, they're looking at hopefully starting a new one there as well. So that sounds about right, Jan? Things there pretty quick. Okay. And so we can get some paper the right way then too. So let's see, the mill project, I talked to Rob a while back, and things are, going okay. It might be a little later opening this year than what they were anticipating, and then I'm sure Aaron's mentioned to you too with the weather and whatnot, the road has not moved along as fast as what everybody might have hoped, but it is coming along, and so that's encouraging there as well. Community grants, we're hoping within the next couple weeks to get the announcement on that and see how much we're able to have, and then the plan is to basically announce them in October, get the grant applications out, and then hopefully by the middle of November have them ready to go again. And then one of the other things, we're going to be highlighted as the Farm Bureau spokesman by the Greater Des Moines Foundation with one of our projects, and they kind of looked through all of them and they picked a project that had kids and adults working together, and so they picked the Hawkeye Point project, and so that's going to be highlighted in the Farm Bureau spokesman and encouraging people to contribute maybe more personal funds to the foundation there as well. Then one last thing, I know Mike's planning to attend, but and Jerry, I think as well. We have our Northwest Iowa Developers Partners meeting, and that's going to be this next Wednesday, the 19th, down in Sheldon at the new Crossroads exhibit center there on the highway. If any of the rest of you are available that night, there's a dinner at 5:30, and the program's at 6:15, and Lieutenant Governor Greg Adams is going to be our featured speaker. So if you would like to come, just give me a holler and I'll get your reservations there. So.
What's the community grant deadline
Usually, each year we have to, our group meets, but if we get the announcement in this next week or two, I'm going to guess by November 15th or so we'll have the grants due. That would be similar to what we had last year. And we'll probably get them out the first part of October if we get the committee together, but it all kind of depends on when we get the announcement from the state. Last year, I think it came on the 19th of September, and then we were able to turn that around pretty quickly, get them out a little faster. So.
Can you pick up the applications before October?
We have to get all of the approval in once we get the money and all that kind of stuff there. So as soon as we get the approval, I've actually already worked on this year's application, so I've got it updated. But I can't get it out before the board approves that, so.
Are you asking for individual grant applications?
Individual grant applications.
Can entities get an application ahead of the announcement?
We'd rather not, because I have to have my committee to approve the application itself. It's not just a standard thing, so.
The deal in Sheldon, what time was that?
The
deal in Sheldon, what time was that?
It's 5:30 meal and 6:15 program. And then they're usually out of there 8 or shortly thereafter. That's all right.
All right. Here.
Morning. So like as Mike mentioned, it hasn't been the most
helpful year for us in the Tyler Avenue project. We probably picked about the worst year to build the road. But it is actually moving along now. Obviously a lot different than what we had anticipated. So right now, they're trying to work hard to complete that south mile and continue, toward that north mile to finish up at Highway 9. I'm guessing there's still, a few weeks left at least before we get to a point where you start seeing a little bit more of the finished product. Probably closer to a month. But that's where that's at right now. Schlofeld's also gonna be working more, I think, at the next board meeting, he'll be presenting on, like, the design for the pavement and such, further, so, that's what I had scheduled with him. So that's ongoing for a winter letting, that'll be our intent. The guys have been working on, we have our pipe crew's been doing driveways, fixing culverts, we have doing a lot of culvert work too for, in advance of our overlay project for next year. We have a big overlay project, so there's a lot of underground work that we wanna get done ahead of that. We finished up a lot of our maintenance activities, our slurry leveling, that's done there, they kind of completed that for the year, what we could get done. We're gonna probably do a little bit more crack sealing on our paved roads this year, if we can get enough time in construction season to do so, because I still have a lot to get done before spring, which we have a lot of, seal coating that we're gonna be doing next year, on our paved roads. So I will be doing the striping finally. I was planning on bringing somebody in to do a fog seal on those roads, and it all kind of fell apart. So it's been in limbo for a while, and I apologize. It won't happen again like that. That was just going through it the first process. It was a learning experience, so, next year that won't happen. We'll be doing it all bam, bam, bam in a row. But I am scheduling the stripers come in now and do that. We actually canceled the box sealing. Basically, we have significant work involving, road and bridge work. We've done a lot of bridge repair work right now. We're still investigating a lot because the president did, sign the declaration, so we are, going out and actively pursuing anything that was impacted from that flood, especially our crossings, our bridges. So that's kind of something that's ongoing, be going, and the work that entails will continue this fall and all next year, I'm sure, a lot of that repair work. A lot of mowing now again, like Nick said too, doing a lot more. Also, we're trying to clean up all around the guardrails and stuff, we're gonna get those things cleaned up around tall grasses and everything. Yeah, and we're still in the process of the design and finalizing plans for the big paving project for next year, and also finalizing the project for next year, which will be probably very significant, probably about 70 miles of seal coating. Yeah, that's the, we did address that issue down in Ashland with the dust problems and the haul road, so that's done. Yeah.
Signs are up.
Signs are up, posted road, road posted. Yep.
A lot of noise, a lot of dust. We're getting close. We're about 70% of removing all the gravel. We're starting to repack everything on the north side. It should be nice and quiet today. And a lot of mowing. At least 3 times a week. It's growing. So.
I don't know, when I drove by last time, I saw the ladder was still up against the building, is that something maybe we should ask them to?
Yeah, he was here till 8 o'clock last night,
Okay.
so, yeah, I'll make sure I mention that, put it down.
Just be able to invite him to, more than the scaffold, do anything, there's risk there anyway.
I mean, if that's how I cap this early on, right?
Did you have a chance to ask anybody look at that, ambulance building? Did you have anybody look at that ambulance building, did you have a chance to call anybody, or? I have a couple of, contractors coming out, take a look at it, and give us a bid for the road and the siding.
Attorney? So, we've been to the litigation side of things. Today is exactly 5 weeks out from the scheduled trial date for the Vanderpool double vehicular homicide. be having, the Assistant Attorney General come out to assist me with that trial. Things have been pretty busy in litigation in general. We've had plenty of depositions, motion days have been pretty busy, pretty stacked up. We had back-to-back motion days the past 2 Fridays, which is unusual. There's a judges conference this Friday. And not just in our county, but in several counties in our district and sub-district, judges have noticed the calendar's gotten pretty crowded, so they've let us know that there won't be nearly as lax and liberal policy on continuances as previously stated or as previously was the case. So we're going to be moving some cases out and trying some cases in the next probably 5 to 6 months, and hoping to make progress there. As we get closer to the double vehicular homicide, things are definitely ramping up. We have some depositions, they'll probably last an entire day in the next week or 2 weeks, and see if that's going to settle or if this is going to be happening. And I am going to certainly hope that we can try this case and resolve it mid-October. That's been the biggest thing. Besides that, we had a really busy juvenile day last week. That was pretty significant. A couple weeks ago, I went to Des Moines for several days to have meetings on a couple cases I have, as well as the vehicular homicide workshop, because I wanted to get as stuff on that as I could. And besides all that, the usual civil side thing there, and I was working on the weed issue and a series of other civil issues. So these things.
Now, give a further update on the Northwest Iowa Care Connections later, where we stand with that, but we had a special meeting called last week that spoke to the Lyon County representative, and he said their attorney was going to attend that special meeting. It's a good idea, so I asked Nolan if that would be, that was a value to have the county attorney there, so just want to thank you for being able to fit that into your schedule too.
I think we learned a lot that day. Or I did at least.
I think some of them that have got to do up.
Yeah, the attorney I picked to do the title opinions has not gotten back to me yet. I sent him an email last week about it. It sounds like he's got abstracts requested, so hopefully he'll get those back. Or hopefully he's already gotten those back. I mean, I wouldn't say it's an extremely long period of time to wait for title opinions, but I can get something home.
Yeah, so like keep that done.
Absolutely. And once we get those back, assuming that we have merchantable title, quote unquote, then that should be a pretty simple thing to get done and through. Okay, so we got surveys done, we got title opinions out.
Auditor?
Busy as usual. The audit's gonna start October 3rd for the fiscal year 17-18. So I think most department heads have been notified as to what they need to get gathered before they get here. And I will need a supervisor here on October 3rd. So whoever would like to come and do the interview, it takes about an hour. And we do have Jamie Baker starting October 1st in our office as a full-time employee. She's presently working out of the high school at the office. She's stopped in last couple of days. She seems excited to start. So
How many days?
we hope she feels that way 4 months from now. She'll be working full-time.
That's how much of a grip she gets before she runs into me, all right?
We have a more than enough supervisors. No.
The updates and the information. The county attorney provided the, made sure that I forget that.
I just forget it, to be honest with you, so I'll enjoy it. So far for the reminder. Yeah, you're good about that. Alright. Just a
Short and rare.
Yeah, later, I think I'm gonna get mine off, look at where.
I did, I think mine's due next week.
Do you guys mind if I ask the 9:15 item? Aaron, we would just allow that to continue after the items in front of it, rather than breaking it up. Just have the lead discussion as we go, and it's fine, not shorten it up. Is that all right if we don't adhere strictly to the 9:15?
Should I just plan on coming back down then?
Well, I think then we can just do the weed discussion now,
Right.
so you guys are here, and not have to break it at 9:15 and come back to it.
Absolutely, that's perfect. But then would I just follow the weed discussion?
If you would like to, or if we take care of the other things, that's fine.
Either way.
Either way. I would think those things will take longer, I also told them all that over here, actually, be an hour and a half meeting, it was closer to 3, so. Oh, boy, don't take my word for it.
Oh, boy, that's, we had to adjust the back half of that day's schedule. Had about, a lot of things I thought I was gonna do, Smithy had to do, felt kind of bad about that. Oh, boy. We learned a lot.
You told her it was my fault, right?
No, I think I could have.
Okay. So, said when we kept this item on the agenda, we had just tabled it to make sure, and I don't think we didn't want the weed commissioner here, I think that was assumed. In working on this issue, that we were wanting the information and advice from the attorney and the engineer as well, so. When Barb asked if that was supposed to be on the agenda, I said, well, put it on there, we can always pull it off, and inform those other two, and they could be here. My take on this is similar to the ordinance that Lyon County has used, and having spoken to Nolan, he's indicated to me that he would support us using that approach.
Yeah.
I personally had some reservations still, but I think the email that was provided from the state commissioner that Nick had sought out was really swayed my opinion. I thought he gave us the authority to act in this manner and move forward. Such, that's what is of interest to the board, or what are you thinking?
Seems to work pretty good in Lyon County.
What's that?
Seems to work pretty good in Lyon County.
They're trying to, I know their question is that, I spoke to their county attorney and, you know, her opinion of it was, you know, a lot of the same that I've heard from other county attorneys and kind of the same attitude that we often have when we have one of these issues where it's not a pressing direct civil issue that's gonna get us sued the next week. The question is, for us as county attorneys, to kind of, you know, first, let's do no harm. Let's be careful with what we're doing because this isn't a situation where we're gonna get sued next week. This is a situation where we have present impending liability and we need to be careful about how we enact policy. And really just ask, you know, to what extent is this our problem? But, you know, the more we talk with people and the more I heard from folks about how much of the issue it could be or it was, then it became clear that at some point we needed to act, and we needed to act before things got worse. So I looked at this policy, I looked at the one that O'Brien County had, there was Buena Vista too, maybe was mentioned. I got 3 policies I think Barb sent over. And I took a look through those. Sioux County, there we go. And also took a look at chapter 317, which just, you know, goes generally through weed destruction, and and Nicholson as well. Okay.
Yeah, they tell over neighbors.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, was that, you know, this was a problem that other counties were confronting around here. It seemed like things weren't getting done in terms of landowners living up to their responsibilities on the code, under the code. And that seemed like something that kind of gave us the, kind of some impetus on getting that done. But I also know that in terms of the way resources were apportioned, between county conservation and county engineering department, that, they didn't maybe have the ideal setup at that time to take care of this, and that some of that has been remedied. And, you know, when you look at this ordinance, what I just said there is important because it's important that we as a county have the ability to deal with our weed problem from the governmental side and also have the ability to kind of compel people to take care of their own burden for it. And in terms of this ordinance, it gives the county weed commissioner a pretty wide amount of leeway in terms of how he or she would apply this ordinance. And we all talked about it yesterday, and it seems there's some consensus that in the beginning, at least, you know, assuming we pass this ordinance today and it goes into effect, you know, we're not looking to be proactive about finding people. We're not looking to be proactive about going on other people's land and spraying their weeds for them. If it comes to that, probably sometime next spring, we'll do that. And if we have to find people, we'll do that, but we're not looking at doing that as even primary or, necessarily even a secondary thing. That's something that we can come to later, we can deal with that and confront that issue if we need to. But what this does is it gives, these folks the ability to take care of the problem, and it codifies expectations. And we had this discussion last time, kind of my role as a county attorney under the code, I think it's 317.17, 23, is not necessarily supervise what's going on here, but to make sure that those responsibilities are being carried out. And as I read through the various ordinances, I kind of tried to bring together, and mine is basically the Lyon County ordinance, plus a few things I found in other ordinances, and I kind of just put, number 5 in there, simply to explain that, there's flexibility here, and, if we want to go the vine route, we can. If we need to add additional weed species, we can. If the board wants to direct county conservation, the weed commissioner, the engineer, as to what they think are problem areas, we can. This ordinance gives us flexibility and it sets out what expectations are.
Mrs. Harshberger's response and the state's response indicated some of the changes that took place legislatively this last year. In-depth, is this consistent with that? Did they kind of struck the line, the reference of spraying as a method of last resort? So I think that's kind of the changes.
I looked at the 2017 code through Westlaw, which, brings in any kind of changes that were done this last session, and I didn't notice anything. If the board would like me to add in something to the, number 3 here, in terms of expectations or somewhere else in the policy that what I guess we would call a broadcast spray, right? Just that would be rolling through ditches and spraying the whole ditch. That would be used as a last resort. Is that kind of your understanding, Jason, of what the change in the code was that was an issue?
I think the code previously required that more than what it would now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now it's more broad option.
I personally need to weigh in on what the best approach is, but
Right.
consistent with what I've been considered this year.
I believe it is. The $10 fine, doesn't seem like much, but that's what's in the code, that's the limits are, and at the end of the day, I don't want us to get into a situation where we're levying heavy fines over this. It's, something that it slowly becomes a problem, and it's a problem that gets away from folks, and, we're at a place where we can make a change, and this policy will kind of give us the flexibility we need to do that.
So when somebody calls in and says, I got this weed problem in my ditch, then that goes to, I don't know, it goes to conservation or goes to the engineer?
How do you got it over?
I don't know.
A weed problem in their ditch?
Yeah, to me, you wouldn't call the weed commissioner about a problem in your own ditch, it'd be your responsibility as.
Or any ditch in general.
Yeah. I believe that complaint should be directed towards myself.
Yeah.
And then I contact the landowner of the property and.
Because the code says any person using the roads
Yep.
can call that in.
Yep.
So I would assume it'd be the county weed commissioner then would do what after you get that call?
After you get the complaint, either notify the landowner directly or send them a certified letter stating that they have a problem, that they need to, that there's a problem, they have noxious weeds in their ditch and it needs to be taken care of.
But they're not responsible for the ditch, though.
They are, by this ordinance, we would be saying they are.
But according to the code, it says the state and the county, according to that updated one that you got from Des Moines, it states that the county board of supervisors and the state department of transportation shall control or eradicate all noxious weeds on the roads under their jurisdiction.
That's part of the issue with this chapter, whether it was last year, this year, next year, is that there's always going to be overlapping responsibilities. At the end of the day, what this ordinance and what chapter 317 basically embraces their foundational principles, that there is that overlap, and at the end of the day, it does fall to the landowner. It is the legal responsibility of the landowner or the possessor or controller of that land to control weeds, but as a practical acknowledgement that some people are just gonna screw up and some people are just gonna fall short, that there has to be county level governmental involvement in spraying these weeds, because if we simply relied on a system of fine and notice and didn't spray weeds ourselves, we would end up with a similar or functionally identical problem with weeds. And so, yeah, you're right. It's kind of an overlapping thing. At the end of the day, though, if the county can't get out there and do it, or the county doesn't get out there and do it, it's the responsibility of that landowner to take care of that problem.
But the landowner doesn't control that travel.
Well, that's why it's written with and or, and the code is written in and or. And that's, again, an overlap of responsibility. Somebody's gotta take care of those weeds. Who it's gonna be, we're gonna learn in terms of overall enforcement and carrying this out, how that's gonna work out.
But as a property owner, you can't give that property owner the burden of maintaining the right of way without giving them some sort of benefit as well.
That's not necessarily true. That's a reality of expectations that come with owning property. And I can see your point, that a person who is given an easement doesn't have the full bundle of sticks of property rights, right? And I can see how that may seem sort of unfair, but at the end of the day, because that person is still technically the owner of that ditch, although they have given a permanent easement to the county, there is still some level of responsibility that comes along with that. And the way this code is written, it's meant to split that responsibility, to overlap it. And I take your point. I think that part of the restructuring we've done here, or we're undertaking in terms of secondary roads and conservation, is to give local governments a chance to take care of that in a ditch they have mostly control over. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't get taken care of, the landowner can take care of it.
But the reason we don't pay taxes on those acres is because we don't control them.
I would argue your use of the word control, and I know we'll just probably differ on that.
Yeah.
But the county can't get upset that the landowner's not doing it and force him to sell that land. But the landowner can sell that, and it's gonna be on the title for the next person, it's going to be
But that easement goes with
on
that.
the deed.
So
So to
every
me,
owner-
that indicates control. And
But you're not
the advice
technically
we
selling.
received indicates that the county can take action in this way to say that the landowners need to address that.
But you're not selling the road. Like, if I had to, like, where do you draw the line of what your responsibility is? Is it my responsibility to clean out the ditch? Is it my responsibility to replace the culverts?
No, this is just one chapter in the code that makes those sorts of responsibilities, essentially irrelevant to that consideration. And part of the reason why chapter 317 is structured the way it is because of the unique reality of weeds. Okay, I'm not a botanist, I got a biology background, I've also been around farms. I think that there's other folks in this room that have a far more extensive agricultural background than me. And I think we all understand that weeds mess up your property, whether or not you've got culverts, whether or not you've got drainage tiles, whether or not it's improved because the seeds flow through the air and it lands on other people's property. At the end of the day, whether or not there is control of that property, that landowner still has title to that property and the county still has some control over it. And since both of those individuals have some kind of legal responsibility to that land, and those weed seeds are flying over the land to other people's areas, if they ripen, pollinate, germinate, etc., then they have some responsibility. This is about shared overlapping responsibility.
Well, then why doesn't the state do it with their highways?
They don't have, they actually own most of their stuff in fee title.
All of it?
Yeah, most of their right of ways, now, that's what I was told too by Lance, I mean, yeah, they have fee title on it though. They own it,
The whole bundle.
they own all the sticks in the bundle, 100%.
What are the odds you'd be able, let's say the landowner doesn't wanna do it? I mean, do you even have the ability to enforce it?
If the landowner doesn't want to do it, then this code section gives us the explicit ability to enter onto their land to deal with the problem or cause the problem to be dealt with and define them. Obviously, as we said, that's not our primary or even secondary plan of action here. We really don't want to get into the business of finding people, entering onto their land to take care of their weeds for them. From just a simple facial, common sense perspective, it seems like a borderline ludicrous thing for a county government to engage in. However, the code and the way the winds are blowing legally and politically makes sure that this is a responsibility that we're going to need to undertake in some fashion. I think that what we have here gives us some flexibility, it sets out some expectations for folks, and it gives us the chance to deal with it the way we see most practical or most reasonable.
How is that applied in other counties? Because I've never heard of anybody being fined for ditch.
That's the way it's going. I mean, when I got a stack of at least 3 or 4 policies from Barb yesterday that had this, I talked with Lyon County a significant amount about it, touched on it with Clay County. This is in the code, this is a reality of the environment we're dealing with right now, and it's something that other counties in this area have also had a problem with.
But I guess I'm just asking, how do they apply it?
Well, I think like Lane County, this is probably their first year, because it's the first time I've gotten a notice.
Yeah,
We're all gonna have.
I can speak to that a little bit, 'cause I spoke to Doug Julius down in, Sioux County, and they've had this for a while now too, and I guess I'll speak to it in general. Yes, they have the same setup. In the end, this is really encouraging good housekeeping, both in the county level and in the citizens, the owner, you know, the landowners in general. A lot of times when this stuff happens, you know, small areas, it's, by the time it's a problem, you know, they get a call from the conservation to go out there and mow it quick. You know what I mean? In small isolated instances, because by the time you go and write letters and put, and go after all of it, it's already too late. You know what I mean?
That was, how do most counties handle it as far as, who does the weed commissioner job in most counties?
It's, in our area, a lot of them actually are just farmers, you know, they appoint farmers.
That's something, you know, I don't think this is a bad idea, but my problem is, okay, so somebody calls Nick, he sends them a letter, you're gonna have to give them X number of days. They don't do it, he has to contact you, you have to go out and either spray it or mow it. We're past the point of no return.
Yeah. Let me explain to you.
I'm sure we should consider maybe a couple farmers doing it in half the county or something, or put it back on your shoulders. I know you got enough to do, but I'm not against Nick doing it, but I'm just saying we're passing too many things around.
I'm okay with considering that, but I'd say another day and another time. We've appointed a weed commissioner for this year. That's not the identified.
I'm just saying that's my concerns on the whole thing, enforcement, because I'm not sure we
I
can
think
enforce
it's
it.
a future thing, that figuring out a complaint process, like a workflow kind of thing, might be in our best interest, especially that's an idea that we're gonna learn a little more about, we're gonna flesh out as this ordinance, if we pass it, and we start to enforce it, and we start to go out and spray more, or if we get into a situation where we have somebody who's recalcitrant, who's not being cooperative, just says, I'm just doing whatever. That's not a problem. I don't think that weed on my property is a problem, and the ordinance and the code say that it's not really that person's job to determine whether or not that weed is a problem, it's the weed commissioner's job. If we get into a situation where we have to find somebody, we're gonna figure out more about the most efficient way to enforce this, and we're gonna figure out whether or not we need to go the route of just appointing farmers to do it, or other people to do it. I think that's.
Do we have the ability to recoup the cost of the spraying? We have to go out and spray it ourselves?
Yep. But I believe that's in the.
That gets tacked on with the $10 or whatever?
Yeah, that's.
Well, $10 is an optional fine.
Yeah. And
I would question, in 4, it indicates here that the county commissioner shall cause the requirements of this ordinance be properly carried out. It shall assess against the landowners.
Yeah, and that's from the code.
I would be more open to,
A May.
yeah.
If you wanna do a May, that's fine, it adds discretion. And really the trade-off there, and this is for the board to decide, the trade-off between shall and may is, it takes, some of the firmness out of the ordinance, and, I know that in debate and in discussion at the state level on this, that people were pretty peeved at what other landowners weren't doing in terms of taking care of their land. It doesn't sound like we're in crisis mode, knock on wood here, with our weed situation yet. And so if we wanted to make this a little more discretionary, a little more flexible, I'm fine with that. If you wanna make it, I think that what needs to be remain as shall would be the county commissioner shall cause the requirement to set ordinance be properly carried out.
Do we have to have shall be assessed?
That's fine. If you wanted may with the discretion of, sorry.
If conservation requirements are hectic, and keeping accurate and concise costs of what it took to remedy that so that it can be assessed, I can see getting hung up. If we get farmers some days to do it, if they may not have real strong spreadsheets, this or that, or the weed commissioner portion to accurately assess, and they can take a little bit of flexibility in.
I think this is gonna be a learning curve for a few years.
It will be, there's gonna be some learning, and you're right, Jason, because you don't want to be in a situation where, you know, we have a farmer that's out doing spraying in one third of the county one day, and he has to go to 8 sites, you know, how is he gonna take it down in a minute? You know, what is it, a year, and then he drives to the next one, we gotta assess that. And when you put shall in something, it really increases the expectations on how precise that assessment will be. But if we get into a situation where somebody simply refuses to substantially comply with the requirements of this ordinance or the statute, and we gotta drive out there and spend 2 hours hosing weeds down on all corners of their property, or go onto their property and hose weeds down, well, then maybe we do need to assess it. Yeah, so I mean, shall, here's my question, if you wanna change shall to may, do you want maybe assessed in the discretion of the weed commissioner, or maybe assessed in the discretion of the board of supervisors?
Commissioner, have a preference on that? If you're talking about assessment level, do you want the weed commissioner to remain with that authority, or do you want to have them present it before it to be?
I think it should be approved by the board, personally. I don't think it's my job to go out and find people for weeds on their road, you know? And I see, there's a lot of still gray area in this, because like, has been brought up, the people aren't paying taxes on the road. So how, I'm not willing to make the decision that since they're not paying taxes on the road, they're gonna get assessed a fine for not taking care of weeds if they don't pay taxes on it.
And it's not like these are two separate easements, it's one easement for the road and the ditch. We keep talking about like these are two separate things, it's just one easement.
Right.
So like, am I responsible as a landowner for the visibility at the intersection? If I have tall grass in the intersection, is that my responsibility? If you can't see around it, am I responsible to cut that down?
Not really.
Secondary roads?
I would say that we would be maintaining these type issues.
The reality with the tax issue is that in a number of various ways, different levels of government exempt people from tax when having choice. Obviously, it wouldn't be very popular, palatable, or fair if we made people continue to pay property taxes on the road in which they had to give up an easement that had to be maintained. But that's a decision that was made legally and politically to exempt people from that tax liability. That doesn't mean that they're exempt of any and all responsibility with regard to that land. And if there's weeds growing in the ditch, then that's distinct from them being required to maintain the road surface, distinct from them being maintained to require visibility, and those sorts of things. Again, the consideration of the weed chapter is simply that noxious weeds left unchecked cause serious ecological and agricultural detriment. And this is a way to address that, and we have very static ideas on property rights. My property, my right to control it, I pay taxes on it, no one else enters on it. If they enter on it, it's trespass. Things like this weed chapter modify that understanding and put caveats on it. One of these caveats is that there's a basic level of expectation that people will undertake some basic level of maintenance with regard to that.
Does the easement define whose roles are defined as what when you have that easement? That it's still the Joe landowner's responsibility for X, Y, and Z?
I think regardless of what the easement does, it doesn't say that this chapter controls over that, and at the end of the day, am I gonna say that there won't be some serious constitutional litigation with regard to what it really means? If somebody doesn't have property tax liability, if they can be assessed that? Sure, I'm guessing somebody might try and fight that. Do I think they're gonna win? No, and is it speculative for us to say we shouldn't enforce this chapter based on that possibility? Yeah, I think that's only
Well,
speculative.
it says based on control, so that means I would have the control of ingress, egress, anybody that goes, anything to do with that property. I mean, what is my control of that property?
I mean, I don't wanna get into a deep legal philosophical discussion over what control is, but if you have an easement, on some level, you have some level of ownership of land.
But the easement isn't with the landowner, the easement's with the county, they're not.
Right, okay, sorry, I misspoke. If you have given an easement, yet you still retain title to the underlying land, you are in some respect an owner. And the way this is set up is that each owner and each person in possession or control of, okay? Under that definition, I, as somebody who rents, am in possession or control of my apartment, but my landlord owns it. We're both responsible in regard to this. Obviously, we're not talking about weed control surrounding the property of the apartment I live in, but the point is that it's written as broadly as possible. So again, we're sharing responsibility. The county has some responsibility for it, and the person who has the underlying easement also has some responsibility for it. They both fall within the language in this ordinance and the underlying state statute.
May I speak a little bit too on big picture here? We have invested in some of our capability, both from a spraying and a mowing standpoint, and we're continuing in that process, and we will make these investments. Because I wanna have the capability to do a better job of manicuring our paved road system and keeping things looking nicer, you know, countywide. This fall is the best time to actually do some spraying. I know this has been, you know, something that's hasn't been addressed for a long period of time. I intend to, on prioritizing the paved road system, doing some spot spraying in some of the worst areas that we are aware of. You know, and always looking for guidance too on some of the worst areas, because it gets harder and harder to identify where these areas are too, unless they're blooming. But our intention is to do something. It's not like we're gonna just do nothing anyways. You know, and at the end of the day, the goal would be to encourage better housekeeping countywide, you know, with weeds, in relation to weeds.
Make people reconsider their practices.
Yeah, so that, because, you know, or else, like, what we have the problem we had this year, it's like, it was just like a nightmare, you know what I mean? And
Well, and I get that, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, you know, the rest of the counties and their application of their ordinance is the same as this one. Have the equipment, the ability to spray, they budget for it. We, at this point in time, have budgeted absolutely nothing and had no equipment to do anything with it.
we had equipment, but we weren't set up as well as other places.
So,
And it's
as
part of
long
it.
as we have something budgeted towards it and some equipment to do what everybody else is doing, with the same ordinance, I mean, I guess that would make sense.
That's kind of what we're doing. We're kind of following suit with all of our neighbors. I mean, I'm just being quite frank. That's what we're doing, and it really gives us some fallback, because at the end of the day, if there's something really out of control, I mean, at least you have the ability, you have something to go off of.
And do we have the ability as a county to add noxious weeds to that list?
But yes, that is in section 5, coming directly from 317.17.
So we can,
So if we find out later on that, let's say there's some special unicorn species of weed that only we deal with, came down from Minnesota and, you know, the first one here, yeah, that's explicitly in this ordinance and in state statute, that we can add it in.
like that wild parsnips.
Yeah, or the Palmer amaranth, I think that actually might already be in here already, but,
It is.
yeah,
Palmer Amaranth is.
yeah, okay, yeah, so that's
So,
in there already.
what's the process for us to go through to say, like, to add wild parsnips to that list?
I don't know what I can answer that right now, but
Here, so,
I have an old copy of 317.
317.17, additional noxious weeds. The board of supervisors shall order the weed commissioner or commissioners to destroy or cause to be destroyed any new weeds declared to be noxious by the Secretary of Agriculture. So, the Secretary of Agriculture would have to add it
To the list.
to the list.
So then we'll need to change number 5 then, for us having the ability to add that in there.
Yeah, we can change that, designated by the Secretary of Agriculture. Secretary of Agriculture.
Number 1, though, it says cut or burn.
Yep.
Next, if we get into trouble, first of June, there's some thistles coming, we cut the ditch.
You can, yeah. I understand that it's, that law actually,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I really wanna share this, it has no teeth to it.
What's that?
The shouldn't, like, you can't mow or hay your ditches before July 15th. The only way that law would get teeth is if the county board of supervisors would implement an ordinance to give it teeth, I guess. I mean, because the state passed a law and then said it's up to the supervisors to set up a fine system. And there are people that follow the law, and as far as nesting season, that's a good thing in my mind, but yes, I mean, taking care of noxious weeds in the right of way is something that,
What, cut or?
Make the ordinance, put it in the ban file, so I wouldn't do that.
I mean, honestly, I don't have too many weeds in my ditches.
It's good.
I mow.
Yeah, if you mow, you probably can. Yeah, that's
So
all.
I don't get ahead of me, so.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you hope, you know, and you hope, there used to be more of that too, I think, in the years past. You know, there used to be a lot more. that happening, so we had probably less problems as a result of that.
You got a lot of absentee landowners.
You do, and that's
Out
what
there
they
around
do.
out of areas,
Yeah.
farmers,
But to me, the goal indicates they're still responsible.
if you can get them, send them a bill down to Arizona or wherever. Are they rent, like, when I have leases drawn up, it's tillable acres, it has nothing to do with the ditch. So, I don't know, tenant wouldn't be responsible, I would imagine, if they're only renting tillable acres, they'd have to go back to the landowner.
They're taking lease.
I think, in addition to, like, the ordinance that you guys are considering, I mean, there can be some direction from the board on how they want the secondary road department to handle that, and there can be direction as to whether or not you want to assess landowners that are in violation of the ordinance.
And I think that's important, that the board, as elected representatives of your constituents, have some input on that, and that's what this ordinance is written to do, is give discretion to the weed commissioner as supervised by the supervisors, and, you know, also in your guys' capacity as engineer in the conservation department, have some direction given over what priorities should be, and that, I think, makes this a more relatable piece of, you know, board action, that there is some feedback opportunity, that there is some constituent supervisory interaction that might happen here. It's not simply saying, hey, all of you, fix your weeds now, or we're gonna start finding you. There's some interplay, and there's some back and forth here.
I can see there being a lot of grace the first year, I really can, and that we're gonna be doing everything we can to help them improve the situation, and that's
I
all.
think it's gonna be a couple of years of
Yeah.
trying to get it figured out.
And then your guys will follow through with your part of the ordinance and report the problem areas they see,
Yeah.
and without having to wait for someone to call it in.
And the good thing is, we're have a little more capability now to kind of, we're gonna have more capability. I mean, one of the consequences though is, I'm probably gonna hire a part-timer during the summer to do a lot of mowing, you know, and to help out, I am.
But we need to mow our shoulders anyway.
Yeah, in the past, we had that kind of capability, and I can see the value of that, having a part-time guy during those 5 months, 6 months, during construction season, to help out with that.
Blue decorated, that's pretty.
I know, and that's what it'd be nice to have, and I think, Dave's now in the process of getting certified, so I mean, we're getting set up, the next month's gonna be perfect time to be out spraying, you know, less consequences, and it actually is effective, it actually works, and it goes down into the roots, and it makes a difference, so.
Make some changes to this and then have it come back for a final.
I think that's a good idea too, because I never got to read it until last night, because I was so busy yesterday, and I had a couple questions for you too anyways regarding it. But I think it's close, guys, I don't think it's way out, I just think we could actually look at it a little bit more, and
Yeah, if you guys wanna come back to it, that's fine, like he said, the next couple of weeks would be a good time, if you wanna come back to it next Tuesday, that's fine. Jason is looking to see if we need to do 3 readings of it, I don't know if we do, but.
Just like changing the shell and the may and whatever these other things that everybody wanted.
I would ask that the fine to $10 per day be references a maximum of $10 a day, like the code states, up to a maximum of $10.
Up to, okay. Okay, we're gonna make those changes maybe.
Why would we change that?
Just so it can be less than $10 if we wanted it to be, use more flexibility.
Let's just simplify it. $10, why would we, how are we gonna judge? This guy's $5, this guy's $7, this guy's $10, and then we're being unfair, why don't we just leave it? $10.
The first time you do 2, the next time they're fine, you do 4, the next time you do. Personally, that could be, I'm just saying that would be reasonable.
Yeah. 317.1, sets out the, I guess, the assessment process, where it's up to you guys to figure out the actual costs of.
For $2 a day, I thought the county spread.
I mean,
That's a fine in addition to assessment.
Well,
The county's grant, they can still charge a bill.
really, I think that is to just basically cover his cost of dealing with something, having to constantly, you know, spend time and energy addressing that, is really, I think, what it gets getting down to.
yeah.
It gives him some, is that what it's really about? It's about, because he's trying to express something, he's not getting any response, and
And
then.
when you get down to
So they're gonna assess the cost anyway.
yeah,
Correct.
So,
and it's like, do you want according to the code, we're supposed to give the weed commissioner all the tools he needs to enforce the code, which is, he's the one that's supposed to go out and spray these problem areas. But as long as everyone's worked out who's gonna do what, and I don't know where that, how do you budget, if that's supposed to be somebody else's job to do it.
There is a reason why we're going to this ordinance too, is because I can see the danger of us trying to get into a full-blown program of spraying,
Well,
you know?
nobody's asking to do that.
Yeah,
so
exactly, and so there's a reason, I mean, we're gonna do a little bit the best we can, we're gonna try to focus on our paved roads as primary focus, and we'll deal with gravels as we can too, but we're gonna focus on what we can, and as we get closer and closer to that right-of-way line, the more that's gray, you see what I'm saying, the more we're gonna be staying away from there, because we don't wanna cause impact to private land too, and cross damages and these kind of
We
things.
fixed these areas that got out of control, and the reason they got out of control is because we didn't do anything with them.
Yeah, nothing
So
was
that's
done.
still kinda on us for not having done anything with it for so long. So everyone gets to start up with a clean slate when we get our little problem areas, you know?
I don't know if I agree with that, I wouldn't share that feeling.
Well, what enforcement has the county done? And it is
Every
the
year,
responsibility of the board of supervisors to make sure that these are followed through with. And you've got these patches of weeds, they go for miles of white thistle, so.
And every year, official notice has been published by the weed commissioner that the owners are responsible.
I know, but what did we do to enforce it? Nothing. We didn't even go out and spray and send them a bill. I mean, we had the opportunity to go spray and send them a
Cleaning up
bill.
that process, but I don't think it means that
Well, we bear some responsibility for how far this has gotten out of hand. Because we did not enforce any of it. We didn't send out any bills, we didn't send out any notices, we didn't spray and send a bill to anybody. It just kind of sat on the back burner. So we gotta bear some.
Nothing for in the right of way. I've sent out notices for,
Yeah.
like around acres, nothing in the right of ways.
No.
We haven't had an ordinance like this before either, though.
No, but the notice gives us the ability to tell people to do that we had before. This one's just worded a little different. We can agree to disagree, but I still think the board bears responsibility for letting them get as far as they can.
The problem became very evident this year, and now we're addressing the problem.
I didn't say all of that.
There's still, you gotta keep it really, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Not for everything.
but that's why we have to do something like this, let's get a handle on it.
Okay, okay, but we need to get some of our stuff cleaned up together.
I work hard this fall, you know, I'm doing what I can, you know, with the manpower and the effectiveness that I have, do what I can.
I know years ago, they used to hire Corey Walters truck and he sprayed the golf ditches.
We got that same boom and flare now again. And there is a cost to all that too, that's why, you know, and I'm not gonna just do broadcasting of the county ditches and just devastate everything, I'm not doing that, so, but we'll go out, I know like 834, that was bad, wasn't it, like, yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of, there's gonna be some areas that are gonna get hit, good, because, and I'm gonna have to look at how I'm gonna send out notice too, now, probably before that, let people know that I'll be spraying, chemical spraying.
But you have to start someplace.
Exactly.
So we would ask the attorney to bring back an adjusted ordinance to give final for the consideration for the future meeting. So just make sure, yeah, if you would send out a copy, we would respond to you.
I'm just trying to figure out how we got this one down here.
Great idea.
Before we break on that one,
Yeah.
this is point blank.
Just got published.
I know Gary had said that he was not the biggest fan of putting the language up. Just have it be A or B, a fine or no fine. I think there's value to that approach. I also think that the other approaches involved there, do you guys have a consensus on if it should just be $10 a day, or if there should be discretion in the, eyes of the commissioner to make it less than $10 a day? I realize it's very minor, but when we go back and make changes, I make this process efficient.
I don't see the point to change it. What was your reasoning, Jason? First time, $2 or something?
That was just an example as to why you can't use something other than $10 a day.
They don't do it, it's $10?
Because the code section says impose a maximum penalty of a $10 fine for each day. It doesn't require $10 a day for us to go up to that. And it's just mirroring that, not because I think we have to, but.
$10 a day should be. Isn't it good out there?
Well, here's my, the landlord, or the tenant doesn't take care of it, and the landlord gets the bill, he's gonna be ticked, he's gonna contact this, you know, and $100 bill, whether you believe it or not, is gonna make a difference in a $20 bill.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
If we're gonna do this, then let's put some teeth in it and do it.
And I'm not arguing against that, that's where I can see a letter accompanying that saying, this is a first offense, so you've been assessed $2 per day. It can go up to $10 a day, and with future offenses, it would likely be more, but.
He doesn't have to bill him anything, though. He can just not even bill him the first time and let him know it's the first time.
I'm not,
I mean, the
taking
assessment,
my deal, that's fine, we wanna leave it at just $10, that's.
the assessment cost is up to you guys. And calculating the actual cost of what it's actually gonna take to go out and take care of the problem, if the landowner doesn't do it, resides in the board of supervisors.
Well, I would see that rock to us by you, this is what we had to do, this is what it cost, and then this is what we think we use roughly for actual spray, the time it took.
I get that.
You know, you're really busy, you put it down to the 5-minute increments, just
Half hour, you know.
roughly, that's the exact time you were there, so that's where it's discretion is.
So, and then you travel time to that property, and where's the travel time coming from, you know?
We're gonna sit here, we're never all gonna agree to how it's read. How about if we just went with this?
I need to make the change that Ed mentioned with regard to changing board of supervisors to secretary of agriculture, so it complies with the code. And then the only other change that it sounds like we need to make this time is changing, in number 4, shall be assessed, to may at the discretion of the board of supervisors be assessed.
Could we make a motion with those 2 changes?
I think that's
If
what
we
we're
resolve
trying to
Bob's
read it over.
question, is this an ordinance?
First I got it, resolution today, this one, is that out at next
Ordinance, we're gonna change it, ordinance.
What Congress.
You gotta publish, you gotta publish.
Yeah, I would,
Change my ordinance.
I have a couple questions for him too.
Well, that's.
Like, it's a good point, and I recognize it. I know you wanna move forward with that, and I actually don't blame you.
Weed season's over, so we got time to work.
Yeah, in a way, I'm gonna be dealing with it anyway.
Yeah.
It's really for next year is what this is really, we wanna get it out there and let them know. I mean, we wanna let everyone know. I think we should publish it in the spring, you know, in May.
And I'd like to get a little more
It's
info
like
from
it here.
I'd like
you
to
guys
send out a notification,
on this.
just send out.
On the ordinance?
Yeah. You didn't have any longer to look at it tonight.
No.
Okay, then let's table it till next.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just, yeah.
I can talk with him about something too.
Yeah,
We gotta check too, that there is an actual weed ordinance.
and I have the books on
I mean, this is a resolution here, you guys, it's not an
We
ordinance.
probably don't even.
So if you don't have an ordinance, and you want an ordinance, you're gonna have to have public hearings,
And a reading
publish, you
and-
gotta have waived, have your first one, and waive your second, third one. So,
He'll be able to guide it.
Isn't the third service send out an ordinance for this one?
That's just a note.
It's just a note.
That's if we had an ordinance on it.
We had an ordinance on
just see if there's one. It should be listed.
Wait, mine says, the letter that I sent out basically says that they're in violation of chapter 317 code of Iowa, and that when I received a complaint, they need to get it taken care of.
So there's no county ordinance per se, maybe.
Not that I'm aware of.
So
I would assume that.
Just change this to notice of resolution.
So, and I think there's also, there needs to be a resolution done in March that says the date of destruction for the weeds.
We'll let that here.
Yeah.
Have a weed ordinance.
Yeah.
The public would come in and give their,
I don't know. You're the
I noticed on a lot of them that the dates change every year, so like usually the Monday closest to the middle of the month.
Then you're okay.
It's a order resolution.
Yeah.
Just talk to our county attorney, okay?
You can contact us. The resolution looks like it would like to be sufficient, but.
Like I said, it takes less time, it's cheaper, you don't have to publish.
Okay, all right, we'll do that.
I might not have.
You get first, so you want to deal with that now, or you want to do that?
Just whatever number you want to do. You guys want to drop mine either way.
Saw your sister on TV.
Yeah.
They are still being here, and
Yeah, you might put everything else in here.
I should give her a number.
There you go.
I haven't seen it.
I'm fine with that. So, how long do I be there?
Yeah.
How long will it be?
I said earlier, give them that
There's an appointment, then a follow-up. I'll be right down the street. You guys just call me.
We'll go quick.
That's if you don't know the name.
Yeah. That sound good? Just in case you guys have a discussion, I can kind of catch up on some more quick.
Okay, so just discussion, and the county attorney will bring back a revised resolution at a future meeting. Is that enough? Okay.
So the paper and prior to going into closed session, allowing us to get the other items taken care of before they do the engineer evaluation in closed session, so.
I make a motion on Nathan Rosenberg.
The appointment of the new hire for the sheriff's office, motion by Schulte. The appointment of Nathan Rosenberg as the deputy sheriff.
His salary is gonna be $50,539.
Further consideration of that. Or a second.
First.
Mike made a motion. Support. Motion and support to make the appointment of Nathan Rosenberg. Any further discussion or questions, comments? All those in favor of the appointment signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Our fine auditor kept us aware that, we were to annually approve and consider the conflict of interest policy. It's provided us with a policy that is current.
Yep.
Their interest in giving approval of the current policy for another year. I personally would still ask the family not identify parents. And again, I say that they may be invested in or involved in activities that I'm not aware of, nor would I need to be a decision maker in those. And other people may be a party to that and know that that would then potentially can create a conflict for me that I'm not aware of, so.
Well, and I think it's still legal to stay, because, you know, as your parents become elderly or something like that, you will end up dealing with their affairs. It would be a conflict of interest to you then as well. Then would be aware of it, even if you're not aware of it currently. Everybody usually knows what they got going on.
Okay. State code does not require parents, so I don't see that we go above that.
Nothing wrong with going above and beyond.
Unless it becomes difficult to adhere to.
I don't know that at this point, I wouldn't say that it's difficult for us to adhere to that.
I disagree. Good.
I'd make a motion to renew it.
Motion to renew the conflict of interest policy. Any further comments or discussion, consideration? All those in favor, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. I will oppose. Next item, list of the Class D liquor permits for JRJ Hospitality Group.
I'll second.
I'll indicate that that would be in line with the conflict that's cited, so we might be voting. Further discussion or comment concerning the Class C liquor permit for JRJ Hospitality Group LLC? Motion by DeBoer, second by Jones. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
Aye. Abstain as well.
So you want to do it, oh, everybody else.
Back up.
Is this for fire insurance?
Pardon?
Is this for fire insurance?
Liquor permit.
Liquor permit?
JRJ.
This is Mount Vernon fire insurance, so this is kind of.
Maybe that's.
Oh,
our
that's
insurance
who the
company.
draft shop's through.
Oh, okay.
Do I need to sign this, be abstain?
No, you won't.
So then are we doing the engineer next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then there really won't be anything else.
Nope, just elevations.
That'll be in there.
Hey, Mark, can I get a printed version of that email you sent out?
From Jack.
Yeah. Trying to read it on my tiny little iPad screen here, no bifocals, kind of killing me. Otherwise you gotta sit there like this. I tried doing that monovision thing, where you need one contact far out, one far away. I couldn't do it.
I think that would, oh, wow.
It just wouldn't adjust. I tried it for like 2 weeks and it just, my headaches were just crazy bad.
I've heard some people have great luck with it, and it's either one way or the other.
Yeah, there's no in between. Monovision, where they get one eye up close, one far away. Like Jack Benz had his LASIK done that way.
Hmm.
He is bipolar.
Either like this, I can make it out, but it's not. Without glasses. Something like that, I wouldn't even tell.
Yeah, I'm having that whole thing out a little further. Too close to me. You have a real ID or do you have a normal?
No license.
I guess we have the option now of doing one or the other.
But what?
A real ID and then a normal ID.
Driver's license or ID card.
She was saying that in order to get in any sort of federal facility, you get a real ID now. Whatever that is.
Yeah. I never had the option, so.
Make a copy of the Jack compiled results.
That's what this is.
Does Aaron self-evaluation? Oh. Okay.
Did you send out a copy of Aaron's self-evaluation? Yeah, you did, yeah.
I did not, because he had
No.
included everyone, and he
Yeah,
figured it out.
no, yeah, I heard it.
This is just with Jack.
Thank you.
Aaron's on the phone, he'll be coming up shortly. As to the process, we identified the office staff to do the reviews. They provided the evaluation to them and the self-evaluation to Aaron, which he returned as requested in a timely manner. The random 5 individuals on the road crew, I just had asked Carol for a list of employees. I didn't know if it would be by seniority or it ended up being alphabetically. And I found a website that does random generation, and I just counted the number of employees and said randomly assigned 16 numbers, and it was 2 and 8 and 14, and I don't know what it was. I just went down the list because those were the individuals that were used then, so I personally believe it was randomly selected and was
Did everybody turn them back in?
Then after, that, Jack offered to do the compiling of the results. They did all turn them in and sent them off to Jack last week, and he put that all together and compiled these numbers then.
I know a couple of them talked to me, and they were kind of uncomfortable filling them out. That which I can understand.
Totally random and anonymous.
Yeah.
None of us know.
But, yeah, I think they should have told that up, but it was,
No. Thought they were.
Well, I did
They
ask
see
if
that
they
understand.
include their name. My letter indicated, I could draw up the letter that I sent to them, but it said it would remain confidential.
they must not fully understand that.
Don't believe me, I can't change that, I guess, I don't know. Work hard at that.
One of these here are really pretty good. Explain later.
Let's move this stuff down.
Okay. It's up to yours. They're going to go so far.
What I submitted to the employees was at the August 28th board meeting, we discussed how we would like to proceed with the county engineer's evaluation. We believe this is an important step near the end of the initial contract. The board is requesting you complete the attached evaluation form. The auditor's office can provide a paper copy or an email and return it. Feel free to respond via email or place a paper copy in the file in my auditor's office. No envelope will be provided if you prefer. Actually, I just provided one to assure confidentiality. We ask that you have this completed and returned prior to our next board meeting. That changed slightly because after I provided that letter, Jack offered to do the compilation, so I had Carol ask if they could return it a day or two sooner so that they could get mailed off and sent to Jack. They were all in enclosed envelopes and sent to Jack directly. So, that is the process. If we want to move into the discussion of the evaluations and the self-evaluation and the contract, then I would encourage us to utilize closed session as that has been requested by our engineer.
Has been requested.
You can look at those full session.
Support that.
Motion to go into closed session. Yeah, Iowa Code 21.5(1)(I) by Mike Schulte, supported by Jerry Helmers. Mike, how do you vote?
Yes.
Jerry, how do you vote? Ed, how do you vote? Leroy, how do you vote? I vote aye as well. We shall be in closed session.
Just push that up.
Yeah, please.
For the strengths and concerns and address them appropriately. Entertain a motion in response to that. identifying that and proceed with contract extension discussions, okay? Motion by Schulte, support from the board that we conducted the evaluation, discuss the positives and negatives, and going to proceed with further consideration of contract extension over the next few weeks. Further clarification or questions or comments? All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Consent list is approved by us. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you guys.
Thanks
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Nick.
Yep. Is there,
It wasn't as painful as you thought.
no.
Vote on that, consideration of the contract extension or not?
Yeah.
Who did that?
That's part Schulte made the motion.
Was that part of
Okay,
the evaluation one? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So is this something too we wanna work with, Nolan on too, on, updating it a little bit, or, with the language and stuff, or how that,
Work with,
yeah, and then maybe you or something. Yeah, Jack, okay.
the contracts that he's utilized.
Yep.
So do you want them to start with this?
He's probably got a contract already written up, I see.
He's previously provided one kind of updated from what we currently have. That would be his suggestion.
Sure. If it's something for me to review, that's fine, or if you want me to propose more stuff too, that's fine.
Let's see if you have a copy for it.
What about-
Look at it.
What about that, this is off subject, what about Nest? Is that posted now, or what is it?
It's posted.
Okay.
Yep, it was just posted last week.
Okay.
And the work's been accomplished as well.
Okay.
So it's done.
Do you have a copy of that contract for everyone? Look at it.
Not one that I've written on currently.
Is there, also, this isn't, is there just a summary of my evaluation that I can have, or is that not prudent? I don't know, if there's too much information, obviously I understand the privacy aspect too, but can I have a summary, or is there anything that's confidential with that?
Why not? There's probably individually identifying information.
Yeah, so, good, so I can kind of understand it better too. Okay. Cool, I'd like that.
And I'll provide you mine as well.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate it. Thank you.
See you later, Will.
Didn't want to take action tonight.
Anybody have a rubber band in your drawer? I just have paper clips.
That's all I've got too.
Yeah, paper clips.
No, I've got plenty of those. That's all right. Okay, that's fine.
What's the, I got a question for you, Mark, non-departmental,
Okay.
what's the township duties?
So,
Non-departmental, there at the end.
and which one are you referring to?
The non-departmental,
Yeah, I got that. Where does it say township?
the township duties, don't the
Oh,
township,
that's for their township officials, they get $15.
don't they have their own account, or you have to take care of
No,
all their,
yeah, we have to pay for that, yep,
so we get the money from the township to do that?
correct, yep.
How do they pay any of the rest, or do you pay all those too?
No, they have their own account, no,
How come they don't pay?
they'll have somebody for that. It's just in the code that's responsibility of the county to pay for the officials themselves, because they're appointed by you guys.
Or all the rest of the township costs?
treatment, I'll be honest.
You had an inmate that had some issues. Wasn't it mental issues
Could be.
and whatnot, and they had to do a test on drugs, or I'm not sure what it all was. I remember it being, going through, and it was just, yeah. Part of the county's responsibility to take care of those costs.
Was it like stitches or?
I don't think so.
No,
$5,000 is a lot for a minimum violation.
well, it was,
We, such a little compass point that we should, our sheriff's department should
hey Judy, the board was just looking at the bills here,
utilize that money.
and there was one for the hospital for an inmate for $5,000. Well, yeah, 4,900 for inmate treatment, do you remember what that was for?
I've never seen a bill that's.
Oh, okay.
Under some companies that use them.
Oh. Oh, okay.
There's a lot of
All right, did that happen,
that's available to us.
did that happen right at the jail? Okay, all right, so that was just,
Extra
treatment and
that's why I took
take care of him, was he in the hospital a few days or not?
To let her know, because she works at that rehab.
Oh,
So we gotta-
okay, got it.
It's our regional.
Oh, that makes sense then. Okay, all right, thank you.
And I'm getting
Bye.
some mayors.
We have an inmate that fell, hit his head, they gotta do CT scan, it was an emergency. It was actually, the cost for $9,500, they got down to the Medicare cost of $49.50.
So it was for what happened
Yes,
in jail?
yes, I kept thinking.
When did that happen? No, I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have, that wouldn't have gone through you guys. No, no, because they don't take care of jail, or inmates over there.
Oh, that's
the
right.
county's responsibility. No, you guys would not have seen it.
That's why you got the bill.
Yeah.
We have to get somebody down to them, so they know who to call, they get names, numbers.
Question tonight, the other day was, okay, what, we have 3 super police officers. They all get a utilized, or they can somewhere, and my comment to me was, well, they put shelter on it, but nothing to do with it. Comparison.
FEMA bridge repairs, you get reimbursed for that?
For what?
FEMA bridge repair?
Is that on Stephanie Road?
If it's a FEMA, we should get reimbursed.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay,
That's a process. You don't get your money right away, but
I'm sure it'd be a while.
it usually takes a year or two to get your money.
Well, if nobody has any questions, I'd make a motion to pay the bills.
Any comments or questions concerning approval of claims? All those in favor, signify with aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Each time I look at this, it takes a while, but just keep going.
Here's that bill.
Remember exactly what I told you last week about the mental health region, that the board at our meeting 2 weeks ago did vote to accept all members that applied, or the counties that applied to join. It was not a great afternoon. Indicated that I likely thought, let's just throw the 2, Sue and Plymouth, and they showed up and said, yeah, we're just really kind of keeping this as our options open. We could go to a different region. So there was not much of a feel that they really wanted to partner with us and work together and move forward, and they seemed dire situation.
You're suing for them,
Yeah,
they did that way,
yeah,
I told them to go.
and he wanted them to, he kind of hit up Lyon and O'Brien County to see if they would still consider joining Two Rivers so that they could remain viable. So it was a bit of a game changer, but I think our hand's going to be forced with them largely anyways. They kind of remain wanting to grow just a little at this point with those two and not take on 6, potentially 7 counties, likely 7 counties.
That could bring us up to total.
We have 13 counties total. And strategically, there's some concern that the identity of our region that I think has been functioning well and working together well, those 6 would then be outnumbered and it could be an entirely different view and approach, and they never worked with us and how we work together, so it just really alters things. Most of them just thought it's a Band-Aid approach, it's gotta be done, just rip that whole thing off and get it over with. And I understand that, I don't entirely disagree with it, but I think I fall back to let's take a smaller step, see how it goes, get used to it. I'm not opposed to growing with those other counties down the road, but let's get something behind us that we understand, and, so I still kind of hold to that, and at that first meeting, those that have been in contact with Emmett County who did not apply to join the region would be landlocked, and the state has said would likely be forced to join if the others do. Most that had talked to them initially, they'll come along just fine, it won't be an issue. And I believe on the whole, they're being upset at the process will be with the state, not with us or individual counties. But I think some more information presented that they're not gonna be happy partners in their region, so that as well concerns me to bring them in.
So does each individual county board have to vote on?
That was part of what, I thought that the 30-day clock kind of started when we took that motion, but they can review the resolution once we get, are in receipt of it, then the 30-day clock starts for us to act on it. To fully accept them, yes, each county board would have to vote to accept them. When the motion was made to accept all 6, I did cast a dissenting vote, and initially after that, I think the board's behind this, and I'm willing to support it, and I would have likely encouraged us to go along with it, even though I had voted against it at the board level. So there were discussions this last week, and some concerns, new concerns over Emmett's willingness or wanting to be a part of the region, some concerns over Kasuth's argument with CSS as to the debt that they owe CSS, and it's possible, and they've always told us that we will be responsible for that. Our motion included that you're to come into our region unencumbered, but I don't know if it can actually be carried out. If it's proven that they should pay into CSS more than they did, and they technically are a member of us, the only way you can pay mental health funds is by levying into Fund 10, so if they're part of our region, then we may be forced to, as a region, participate in paying debt back. We're looking to get some answers on that and other things, so last week we kind of just said, let's make sure we get better answers before we send out the letters to individual counties. There's some consideration of rescinding that motion, and I currently may be in favor of that, but with the Lyon County Attorney and the Nolan present, they said that might be a bad step to take at this point, so to ask for more information and make sure this is the step we want to take before we do that. So it's kind of in hold while they're gathering more information to support fully taking in all 6 counties.
And then with the debt, when this whole thing started, weren't we like 90,000 in the red?
And the region, they the balance that we owed and, yeah.
So, does that have Bob Lincoln, or
CSS is run by Bob Lincoln, yeah. They were kind of the original region to form before it was required or
So are they gonna be up to date on all their stuff before they come in, because they have seen like pile of money as well?
CSS or Kasuth County is
Yeah,
the largest.
whatever Lincoln runs over there,
CSS.
they're in arrear stuff for quite a bit over it. And we're trying to get that straightened out.
I don't think that would, I can't doubt that would have any spillover, because that region will still be responsible for that.
Will those bills get picked up by the region when they come in? Those are attached to that current system?
If Cassuth would have to owe what that region, what they need to make bills current, then potentially anything Cassuth would have to levy to participate in that might have to be borne by our entire region, if they're a member. Those are legal questions that I am not speaking with any strong knowledge or authority on, but
What was the financial health of everybody else coming in as far as outstanding?
the financial health is decent. It's more of a ideological thing that, we came into our region with debt. Other counties came into regions with significant surplus, and they were having hard times of letting go of that surplus. We're viewing that now as an entire region surplus. They wanted to pay their region assessments with some surplus and some new levy. We want that a bit within our own region. We didn't have that argument, or have that situation for our county, so it was a no-go, but, basically, Cassuth is saying the funds that we had on hand before the region started are what we wanted to use in part to pay our region assessments, the region levy, and there's some disagreement on that. They said that if they have to pay DSS, that they will bear that responsibility. That's where you get into question, can you pay mental health services with a special assessment or a general fund dollars, or, you can see that's where we get stuck. Yeah, they say they'll do it, but I don't know if legally they can. And then whatever region they belong to or wherever it at is who's technically responsible. So, if that becomes the case, I would guess our board probably will rescind the motion to take in all counties. And if Cassuth doesn't come, then none of the other 10 counties can touch us, so it changes the landscape drastically. So, yeah. Very exciting. So, that's currently the update. It may end up coming before us yet, and I guess further discussion will be had before we form, but I would encourage us to do, but.
Maybe number 9.
All right, so,
Jerry and I are going to the trails meeting on Friday with Texas Meeting. So we'll have something to report next week.
Yeah, they're starting east, working west, isn't it?
Yep.
Did they ever get all the bridges done?
Yes. There's issues of whether we can get our equipment through some bridges now. It's kind of narrow,
Really?
so we'll discuss that on Friday.
yeah, we all should sign that.
We've got, everybody turned theirs in, and even Jerry has signed his,
See, it's up here, so.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
He hasn't signed it yet.
Stupid question for you, Barb.
Yes,
This guy hit his head, why didn't he do a full body scan?
that I don't know. Did they do a full body?
Yeah, they did
That was
they did a CT scan head and a CT scan body.
Really?
So if he just hit his head, all he would have had to do was a CT
You would
scan.
think so?
I don't know why you would have done a full body scan for the head.
That's something that happens to the doctor.
Good
luck.
Transport it.
Good luck.
Do you need this back?
Yeah, please.
This is besides the point, but what was the 25,000 to Ogden Enterprises on the,
Secondary,
yeah,
there's no description.
building or something, or?
What kind of number is that?
Seven
Seven,
zero,
yeah.
337,
Which one?
70337.
Almost like it was a building or something, we need those buildings, did we?
I'm aware of.
25,000.
Didn't tell you.
This says HP 10-inch, but culvert possible, culverts. Unit price $902.28.
That part, some of those bridges, I used to run that, some of them.
It just says,
Then they hit two of them there.
Yeah.
it just says HP 10-inch by 42 by 40.
And that's why we stay line.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, so they were looking at claims here, and there's one for Odin Enterprises for 25,000. Is that, it must be like culvert. It's not. Steel beam, okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is just all over the county then? Okay, okay. Oh, okay, okay. 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 That's what they need to know, thank you. Bye. So it's still being for bridge work,
Minnesota now,
and he bought some, and just stockpiling it. So the steel supposed to be going up, she said.
but you couldn't get a flight with Minnesota ID until you get situated with the federal requirements. Yeah, they got an extension last year, and then second, you wanted a real ID or a normal ID.
As far as the upper Des Moines, the board restructuring, they've talked and kind of, that around for years. I don't think the whole is a bad idea.
Well,
We have representation or something, 'cause the way it looks to me, you could have a supervisor from one of the other three counties, and then there's not a requirement that.
well, when I took over, or when I was for head that time, then that, Jamie, Whitney, called me, wanted to do a interview with me and do me a little bit of a orientation. And I said, whatever works. He said, I'll come to you. And I've never heard from him again. So I'm not sure what the deal was. I've never been to a meeting. Nothing's ever come across in my emails or anything, so I'm not sure.
Larry Bentley has served as a private representative from Lansing here, so he's on there. I don't remember us ever having a low-income representative. And when I asked, they said, well, there's confidential, I can't give you names to talk to people. It's just kind of the game run now. We never had a representative in Osceola County.
Well, he actually called me, that was last spring, when I took over, and he wanted to know. And I said, well, whatever works, just give me, and he said, I'll come to you, so it won't be a big deal. I've never heard from him since, I've never been to a meeting.
Is up there in Moines on there, because they're only here about one day a week before they're over. Do they have phone numbers on their door that people can call?
Guess I can't say that.
I wish they
I don't
would.
think so.
I think they should have names and phone numbers for, something, because they don't.
Well, probably not for that office, but for the upper Des Moines as a whole.
I did get that email about restructuring.
Somebody walks up to the door.
Maybe we all did, I don't know.
And that approach may work, but I was just saying, okay, if you've got a Dickinson County supervisor as a representative, I'd like to see one of the other three counties in that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I did.
Community representative, and a client representative.
You gotta have a low income representative.
The tri-part board, so they've gotta have elected official, community representative, and, someone that's utilizing services, employee representative.
Then we don't want them on that board.
A lot of us are.
Rat she goes through. She's looking, she's looking.
But I know, like here, I wish they had names and numbers on the door. You know, so if someone just walks up there and they can get hold of somebody.
Is anybody gonna attend this DNR meeting on the 26th for the flood? I sent this out to you guys. Just
Does
as an
Aaron
email.
know that?
I have no idea. I just need to know if there's gonna be more than two of you, I'm gonna have to post it.
I'll stay home.
It just says such as the chair of the board of supervisors, county engineer, Dan Beekler should probably be there, I hope.
So Jason, Aaron, and
Okay, all right,
I don't intend to go, but I'll encourage Dan to make sure.
yeah, or Aaron. Okay,
I'm gonna say no too.
okay, that's fine, then we don't have to post it. Because I will be gone the 25th, and then,
How many days?
I don't know, I got on my phone, 140 something, and so many hours and so many minutes.
You just go to the minutes, not second.
It goes to seconds too, yeah, those change too quick.
That's what I asked her earlier, and she just said 4 months.
Yeah.
If you do motion, I'm ready to go.